detener mi momento, un momento, ir a buscar cangrejos en el mar. Me voy a caer, no tengo el
I would
equilibrio.
love you to introduce yourselves. Here we have Acha, which is the founder of the Queenta Jazz Festival, and we also have Hen, which is co-founder and artistic director of the Queenta Jazz Festival. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
So please, Acha, let us know a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so first of all, before the Quinta, I am the general manager of the Yellow Submarine. It's a music place in Jerusalem. It's actually a production house with recording studios, rehearsal rooms, all sorts of educational initiatives, and all kind of festivals. The most known festival that we are actually producing for the last 13 years is the music showcase, the Israeli music showcase that we have. We do it for the jazz and world and rock and indie music, and actually it happens every November. And this year it's going to be for the 13th time. And last year we decided to start a new festival because we felt that like there is a place for it to promote women in jazz. So it was very simple idea to do a festival based mostly on the local musicians. 3 days of around 18 or 20 shows. Very interesting, very modest in a way. And we are very happy to see that we raised already funds for the next 3 editions. So we are on the way to do more. This is on a nutshell.
And what about Chen?
Well, I'm a singer. That's the first thing that I know how to do with my life. But when Asha called me and asked for me to be the artistic director of it started as a series. It wasn't supposed to be a festival, but then when we started working on it, we understood that we actually want to do a festival together. So the idea was amazing. I mean, at first I was kind of I wasn't sure that I want to do it, because a festival that takes only women and puts them on a stage. I mean, I had a thought that maybe it could do more harm, more damage than something better for us. But actually now, after we did it, we can see the changes here in Israel. Like it's small changes, but we can already see it in other series, in other festivals, in the small scene we have here in Israel. We can see the change. So I'm very happy that Acha gave me a call a year ago and offered me to do this festival with him.
Good. Thank you so much again, both of you, for being here in this panel talking about this brand new festival. This year was the first edition for the Queenta Jazz Festival in Jerusalem. I would like to know, how did you started your festival?
First of all, I think, I just remember now that I used to have a lecture that I used to do in all sort of places that deals with culture, that was called from an idea on the paper. Like, what is the process to have an idea and to make it happen? And I think this is a classic example for how to take an idea that you have in mind and to make it happen. So it started actually in the last EGN conference in Tallinn, last September. That it was the first conference of EGN that I was part of it. And it was the first time for me that I felt so much energy about this topic, about gender balance, because for sure we know it from communication, from newspapers, from internet. You know, we're talking about Me Too and stuff like this, and we have a kind of awareness. But it was the first time that I really took part in a session that talked, you know, per se about what's happening in the industry, in the music industry. And I felt like, okay, we talk a lot about it, and and I must say that Europe, I mean, in general, not all the countries, but I feel like in Europe, it's much more advanced than Israel in this topic. This topic is really into a lot of conferences, which in Israel, it's less, we less talk about it. So I felt like we need to do something. And I right away had this idea, like Chen said, first of all, to do a kind of a series of shows in few cities in Israel, in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and Haifa. We thought about a few places. And I called Chen because I know Chen for around, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. We met in one of our showcase festivals. And right away, when I met her then, I felt like we need to do something together. And I called her and I thought about her because she's too modest, but she's a great jazz singer and she's a great educator, and she's like energetic person with a lot of strength, and I felt like she's a good partner for it. And we started talk about it and to think together about ideas. And I think after a month or so, I felt like we should do a festival. We should concentrate all the energy in 3 days and not to make it long during the year, because we need to have more public relation. We have to have more energy concentrate in a few days. This is how it started, actually. I raised some funds, you know, and we decided how to do it. It was very fast. I think in 4 months, we actually created a festival, which is very nice for us.
I don't know if Chen wants to add in any other commentaries.
It was very exciting, and it still is very exciting. It's a complex idea for me as a woman. Again, I said it before, but I still feel that to take women and to do a festival for women, it's a good idea, because we need to address this topic of gender balance, especially in Israel. But it also made me feel, I mean, I prefer to be, you know, in other festivals when there's women and men. I mean, that was my thoughts back then, that I prefer to just that the thing that the gender balance here in Israel is a topic that we need to address, and it made me sad. That's what I want to say. It made me sad that we need to do.
I totally understand you, Chen, because you know what, I with the artists that I collaborate for the festival, like at the beginning, I think most of them, they feel weird to be part of a festival which is focused on women in jazz, because I mean, at the end, they think that why not to be part of a festival who doesn't do like a positive discrimination to exactly.
Yeah.
But the reality is like the programming of most of the amazing and big jazz festivals are mainly men.
Yeah.
So if we don't do something about this, it's just like they continue to be like this. So when you put like a spot, like the spotlight is about women in jazz, there's like so many artists and so many programmers and presenters that they realize how many women are out there, amazing artists, and they start to consider them. It's just like so I think this is the main focus and goal for the festival more than anything else. When you're thinking about like all the ideas, like I hope that Feminajaz is, we're not going to need Feminajaz for the next 10 years, or in the next 10 years, there's not going to be any need about a Feminajaz festival. But the reality, there's still so unbalanced, the situation, that just to put the spotlight there, it's just like, to put the attention of the media, to put the attention of the audience, like, hey, there's tons of amazing women artists out there. They just like we are like sort of a changing the point of view. So many of my colleagues, they ask me like, oh, so tell me like, what are the new talents for next year, or what do you think about this or that artist? And that makes me feel proud that I'm doing something that really has an impact on society, which is the main purpose of Feminajaz. And I really hope that's going to be something that is not it's not going to be needed in a few years. That would be like the main goal for I think for all of us. Like in 5 years, we can call each other and say, you know what, there's no need of Queenta, there's no need of Feminajaz,
Amen.
because all the women are there, and presenters are considering them as well as men in jazz. But the situation right now, I don't think it's balanced at all.
But I think, excuse me that I'm saying and being a bit a party pooper, but I think it's gonna take a lot of years, and we are
More
really,
than 5.
yeah, we really used to say this. We hope we don't need it, but we're gonna need it because the problem is much broader. I think first of all, the reality is that there are much less female jazz musicians than men. This is a known statistic, and when you start to think about the reason for it, it's not just because there are not enough stages or places to play. It starts from education. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I don't presume to understand so much in education and to work on this because I'm not coming from this field. But what I can do is put more energy in this place of playing, of give a stage to this kind of music and this kind of style, because I think this is what we can do, and we have to do. Every one of us should do what he can do in this matter. And I think what I feel is in Israel and all over the world, I think there are not so many stages for jazz as a general, and not so many festivals. In Israel, we have, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 jazz clubs or something like this. We have 2 or 3 festivals. So even the men musicians are frustrated because they don't have so many places to play. So the women as well. And what I felt is, okay, there are enough jazz festivals that mostly take men to play. So let's do the other way and make other people to talk about it. And this is what happened, by the way, when we did it, other people started to talk about it. When I talked to a friend of mine, Avishai Cohen, that trumpeter, that is the artistic director of the Jerusalem Jazz Festival, which we used to work together there. And when I told him about this idea, the first thing that he told me, this year in our festival, we brought more women as well. I felt like he's apologetic, he's like apologize, and he has to justify himself. So I think, okay, this is good. I mean, the fact that we did this kind of festival made other people and other artistic directors to think about it. And this is important, but it's gonna last many years until we have enough female musicians, and it's going to take a while.
I think also, Acha, there is the situation about the education. Actually, the statistics reveals that there's like a lot of women studying, but most of that, they don't continue their professional careers. So there's like a gap. Because of the schools, the statistics about women studying music, they're really high, but they don't continue their careers. So there's like something there.
But it depends where, in college or in high schools? In colleges or high schools?
In music schools. In music schools. We're talking about music schools.
Okay.
Music schools and jazz music schools and contemporary music schools. There are women studying. So like from the AGC, I think it's the name. The association. It's in France. There's an association in France who has done a big study about the situation of women in jazz, and it was interesting because there was like a lot of women studying at schools and music schools, but most of them, they didn't continue their professional careers, and there was sort of a gap that there were like thinking that maybe it could be because there's no references about professionals out there. Also because it's very difficult if they're not references, if you're thinking about yourself as a trombonist in the jazz scenes, just like, oh my God, who's there as a trombonist who has made her life, her money, day by day or month by month as a trombonist, a jazz trombonist out there. So there's like they're starting like the different casuistics that happens to be like the entire reason why there's less women as professionals and less women in jazz in the professional scene. So now we're gonna watch a little video that it's sort of a resume of what happened in the first edition of the Queenta Jazz Festival in Jerusalem.
Y que tú quieres que te dé al movimiento de cadera, ya tú ves. Ahí, dale dos mulatos bonitos, dale tres, dale tres. Que tú quieres que te dé al movimiento de cadera, ya tú ves. No ando movimiento de cadera, dale con el corazón.
The way I just got to be. Boy, if I were, I'd act and follow the right way. That's me, how do I feel? Leave me with my quiet upbringing.
Okay, that was the first edition of the Queenta Jazz Festival. Again, thank you so much for the people who are listening to us right now. We are having a jazz festival focused on women that happens in Madrid. We're about to finish on the 19th of October. We will finish with Andrea Motis, and we are presenting this amazing new edition, this new festival called Queenta Jazz Festival, which is also a festival focused on women in jazz that happens in Jerusalem. Here with us, we have Acha and Hen. Again, thank you so much for being here. we can continue with the next question. That is something that it's interesting because of what happened here with Feminajaz in Spain. How was the response of the audience and the media, TV, radio, digital, to the festival?
Chen?
Very good. I mean, the audience was no, really, it filled a gap. I mean, we don't have a festival like that in Israel, and also I said it before, the gender balance here in Israel is not a very good situation here. So the responses were good, very good, very embracing. Also in the scene and also the audience. Yeah, I don't have a lot about to say about. Actually, if you want to add something, was moving.
First of all, we have to understand that first of all, it's a jazz festival. It's a small festival, and there were no big names. So obviously, the media like TV or stuff like this wasn't so interested because, as you know, TV is interested only in celebs and stuff like this. Pop music, yeah. But we had in general very good responses. We understood that we did something very important, and for us, what was the most important thing, that we felt like we created a new community that are talking with each other. Because one of the first thing that Chen told me, that as opposite to the men in jazz that has like friends and hang and community, the women in jazz in Israel doesn't have it. They are not talking between themselves. So what we felt in this festival, that we created a community, and it was very important for us now. And we got great reviews, and we got great response from the musicians themselves, which was very important. And after the festival, a lot of other musicians approached us, me and Chen and all the guys in the Yellow Submarine, and asked about the next festival. And it was really did something very, very positive. This is what I felt.
For me, I think the most, the thing that most touched me, that in the festival, in the 3 days of the festival, there were a lot of young girls, like 12, 11, 10, young, very young. And after the festival, their mothers texted me through through friends, and a lot of messages from those little young girls that were saying thank you for having this platform for us to come and to see women like us, musicians, because you said it before, there's not enough models for us. I mean, that was one of my things that were difficult for me. There is no one in Israel that I can look up to and say, okay, she did it. She have a family and she did the career, and like there's one in Israel, one in the whole country. So it's hard, and I was like, yeah, I'm part of a change. I'm part of something bigger than me, than music. I mean, there are like little girls right now that are looking at this festival and feeling inspired. That's big.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's very interesting, the reactions out there, right? And how the audience usually for jazz is a little bit older than maybe for other genders, music genders. And it's interesting how this particular event focused on women in jazz, I think, brings a younger audience for the jazz, which is also really interesting. Like we are also opening the doors for new generations to listen to jazz, which is an amazing and universal music. Not only, I'm not going to say anything about any other music genre, of course, but there's like this super mainstream genders that like sometimes they put the jazz in like on a side, and I think it also like makes a bigger audience for jazz in the new generations. I think it's really interesting. You were telling before, Atta, about this, and Chen, about the situation in Israel, about gender balance in jazz. there's like really, and not only in jazz, like in general, there is a lack of this topic out there. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
I think that in jazz, it's the most it's the in jazz, particularly in Israel, you can really see that there's no women, not as artistic directors, really few women that playing that are instrumental players. So in jazz, it's really, I forgot the word in English, kitzoni?
Extreme.
Extreme, thank you. So extreme in jazz, sorry, I forgot the word. And but in other, I think in other genres here in Israel, it's kind of it's in the right way, it's in the right direction. There were the Me Too movement really made a big change here, and jazz was like the last one to wake up to this change and start to do something, you know, to do a change inside of the scene. I wanted to say earlier that I think that the festival was really it made, there's a new movement of women. In Hebrew they call themselves kedma, and the reason that they made this movement is because of the festival.
Oh wow!
Women from all kind of genres, not only jazz. There's pop over there, and electronic music, and instrumental, and not only for jazz. And they.
So what's the name again? So maybe our followers can follow in Instagram and Facebook about.
It's called Kedma.
Kedma.
In English, how would you?
Kedma.
No.
Kedma. It's like it's like a starting, a beginning of something, and it's like the begin. It has few interpretations. First of all, it's the bar that before they start to playing, like in music. So it's something that I think that their idea was to create a name that it's starting, it's a beginning of a new thing. Yeah. This is the idea behind the name and the movement, of course. I think that the most biggest problem is the awareness. I think that the awareness to gender balance is lack in Israel. This is what I felt. And to me personally, the first time that I really met with it, you know, and I thought about it, about myself, what can I do about it, was only a year ago. I mean, I know the situation, but I never gave any real thinking about it, you know. And the fact that my first reaction when I saw a woman plays the drums was, wow, a woman played the drums. This is the problem. You know, I never felt it's a problem, but then I understood that this is a problem, that for me, a woman that plays the drums, it's like something special, you know? And this is why I felt like we have to change it. That when I see a female instrumentalist, trombone player, for example, or whatever. And by the way, there are 2 Israelis trombone players. Really nice.
We were talking before about
musicians, yeah. That I
so,
know.
We would love to hear more and listen more about the artistic director Chen and her career. We're going to introduce you, Chen, with a video. So please, audience, be ready to learn and listen and enjoy more about Chen Levy here.
הערב בא, שקיעה בהר יוקדת, אני חולמת ורואות עיניי הגיא הנערה קטנה יורדת ובאש כלניות לוהט הגיא את הפרחים לצרור היא תלקט לה ובשבילים המתכסים בתל אל אמא היא נחפזת וקוראת לה הביטי מה הבאתי לך בשר כלניות 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 שקיעות בהר תברנה ותדעכנה אבל כלניות תמיד תפרחנה סופות לרוב תהומנה ותסערנה אבל כלניות תמיד תפרחנה
Well, Hen. Amazing and beautiful. Please let us know a little bit more about your career and you have a Spanish audience who's gonna love you. Next year, hope you're gonna come by.
Hopefully. Actually, I didn't start as a musician. I was a dancer till I was 20. My big brother is a musician, so he was the guy that lured me into to music, and I fell in love with jazz because I really like to tell a story. I really like to improvise. Although I'm a singer, I really like to improvise and to tell a story with no words. And I have 2 albums. Both of them are I wrote, and composed. I think that's about it. I don't want to say too much.
Why not? Why not?
About it.
Why not?
Where people can follow you? You have Facebook,
I'm everywhere.
Instagram,
I'm Spotify, Instagram,
YouTube, Spotify, have everything.
I'm
People,
everywhere.
please, if there's anybody out there, look for Hen Levy. Thank you so much. Again, we're here with the Queenta Jazz Festival, which is a festival focused on women in jazz that happens to have the first edition this year in Jerusalem. We are here with the co-founders Archa and Hen, and we're about to finish. We have our last question. And can you reveal a little bit about the next edition? What are the goals for the next edition next year?
First of all, first of all, next year festival, because this one was so successful, we decided to do 4 days festival and not 3. So it's gonna be 4 consecutive days. Starts on Wednesday and the last day on Saturday, and it's gonna be I think the 8th until May 11, if I'm not mistaken. And we are now trying to pull out kind of exchange with X Jazz Berlin, which is very nice and interesting festival. And what we are talking about is like in our festival, there will be one night dedicated to their festival and the opposite. And one more
But
thing
the
that I
X
want.
Festival is actually X Festival is a women in jazz festival.
No, XJazz, but
No.
they have a lot of
Okay.
women there. So, and it's a
Okay.
good opportunity for them to send us their artists that they're going to play in their festival, and for us to actually to promote our festival and to send around 3 shows or something like this. So we're trying to work on it this time. And
Good.
one more thing that I wanted to add, that the last thing that we saw Chen singing, it's one of the beautiful outcomes from the last festival, which is the Queenta Ensemble. It's a project that we started right after the festival, because we thought about what can we do in order to make the festival continue all over the year, and we decided to have a band out of it. So this is what you saw, actually, the outcome of the band that this week actually recorded the first album.
But it's a Quinta. So sorry, but it's a band created for the first edition of the Quinta Jazz Festival, or
from not for
from
out of the
okay.
festival. Yeah, we took 5 leading musicians and we form it together to an ensemble called Queenta Ensemble, and now they are recording, and we made these videos, and we're going to publish a new album, and then to have some shows, and they are playing in the Showcase Festival, the next Showcase Festival, and we have a lot of plans for them. So this is actually what we saw.
Cool, interesting. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Then we can do tours with Queenta
Exactly.
Ensemble, Feminajaz Ensemble. Sounds good. Sounds interesting.
This is the idea. Yeah.
And you're gonna do an exchange with the X Jazz Festival in Berlin.
We are
What
working
else
on
can
it
you
now.
tell us?
Chen, you want to talk about the next year festival?
Should I reveal the secrets?
Not everything, but
I think that this year I want to do something more free, something about sacred music. Is that the word in English, Acha?
Sacred. Okay.
Sacred
Yeah.
music. It's interesting for me to see different musicians talking about and create music that touches spiritual views. Actually, it's because X Jazz Festival sends us all kind of artists, and there were a few of them that was really about spiritual, and it was really interesting for me to see women pray in music. That it's not exactly to pray, but there was something over there that was very interesting for me. So I think that will be one lead for next year.
For us, a festival is not like a collection of shows, because this is what usually happens in festivals, which brings a lot of artists and put them together and they play their shows, and it's a festival and it's very nice and everything works. When we create this festival, we right away thought that we have to do something special, and not just from the gender point of view, but from the shows. And even in the first edition, what Chen did is made a new collaborations and connections between musicians, which was great, and really create new music. And this is what made the festival so special. And so what we're trying to do is every festival to put the particular or the right point, and to put the view on really something that we something new that we like to create. And so this is what we are working on now, getting some ideas, and not just to pull out names and to bring names to the festival, to see what music can we create out of it. So this is what we are working on.
That's really interesting. I hope at Chen and Feminajaz and Queenta Jazz Festival, we're gonna do some collaborations in the very near future. That would be great. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
For being here this afternoon, sharing with us, with the audience, and with followers from Feminajaz Festival. your festival, Queenta Jazz. Again, you can go to Jerusalem. Everybody go to Jerusalem for Queenta Jazz Festival. You're gonna find the best of the women in jazz from Israel. And I hope we're gonna see each other really soon. Jazzayam, anybody's going to Jazzayam?
No, we're not
And,
coming to Jazayam this year. Yeah, but I'm
oh, so
but I'm going to
sad.
see Rosa. Rosa is going to be in our showcase this year.
Oh, great,
Yeah, she's
great.
coming.
Okay, I'm not coming. Hey, what happened here? And well, I hope we're gonna keep in touch and we're gonna collaborate in the very near future. And thank you again so much for being here.
Thank you
And
very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
and if you need to say anything else, follow Queenta Jazz Festival on Instagram, Facebook. You're gonna be updated with the news of the next edition. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.